I can't wait till these new CDs come out.
Cast your mind back if you can to 1983. Thatcher's Britain, Michael Jackson's Thriller, Amstrad music systems, tapes, records, and I think CDs weren't quite out yet. Okay, so let me remind you about the charts in 1983. It was David Bowie, Let's Dance. Michael Jackson was in the charts with Beat It. New Order, Blue Monday. First came out in about January, and then everybody went abroad, heard it in all the discos, came back and bought it, so it made a re-entry into the charts later on that year. OMD's Telegraph got to number 42 in the charts. Devastated. Heaven 17, Come Live With Me. Wham! Bad Boys. Kajagoogoo were in the charts with Something. I hated Kajagoogoo. The Police with Every Breath You Take. Culture Club, Karma Chameleon. Bonnie Tyler, Total Eclipse of the Heart. And Billy Joel with Uptown Girl. That was the charts in 1983.
Okay, so this is a story about going seeing your favourite band when you're 16 years old. The band for me was Orchestral Manoeuvres in the Dark. They were synth pop pioneers from the 80s. The venue, the Hacienda Manchester. It opened in 1982 and we were going to go and see them in 1983. Orchestral Manoeuvres, or we'll call them OMD just for this video. OMD had announced a short tour that they were going to do. 5 dates they were going to do, low key, to try out some new material. I'd been to see him previously at the Apollo that year, 1983, and the Apollo was 3,500 people, and I stood on row N watching them. So now this was a chance to go and see them at a small venue, the Hacienda, and hopefully get to the front. This was going to be a big gig for me. Okay, so the Hacienda. Now later on it became really famous as a sort of clubby dance sort of venue. But in the early years before 1980, shall we say 1987, it was more of a venue for bands to play, and OMD were going to go and play there. Now, I was very naive when I was 16 years old in 1983, and my mate had said to me that, pardon me, the Hacienda, that's the most trendiest club in Manchester, the most swishiest joint in Manchester. And I think we used that word swish. So to me, at the age of 16, trendy and swish, I thought I was going to a club and to watch a band where there was going to be like tables with waiters coming to serve you, and you had to sit there in a very smartly dressed, you know, like on the TV, and you had to sit there smartly dressed and order a drink, and the waiter brought it to your table, and you watched the band. Little did I know what I was in for. The Hacienda was a bit of a cultural experience for people from Manchester at the time. Now, earlier on in 1983, OMD had this look, this shirts, ties, little lapels on the shoulders of the shirts and stuff, and I decided I was going to go dressed like that. This was really apt because the Hacienda was this club and I wanted to look like OMD. So off I went that week. I think I had a week off from work, up to Oldham Market, managed to find a shirt and a stripy tie so that I could look just like this. So finally, the gig was a Friday night, and if I remember rightly, and I've looked into this, it was Friday the 9th of September 1983. The Friday night came into Manchester, all the gear on, stands outside the Hacienda, well, finds it, stands outside the Hacienda, and we're in the queue. And suddenly this rumour goes through the queue. Bearing in mind we've got tickets and everything. This rumour goes down the queue. You need a member to sign you in. Well, my world fell apart. I've got tickets to see the most important gig of my life. Yeah, you need a member to sign you in. Am I a member? No, I'm not a member. So I think rather quickly my friend gets in with this lad who's been talking to, and this lad had said, yeah, I'll sign you in. And I'm stood there, my world falling apart, asking people, excuse me, will you sign me in? Will you sign me in? I mean, how ridiculous was that? You know, that you had a ticket for a gig, but you still had to have a member to sign you in. I don't know if they carried on that policy, but Peter Hook summed it up in this book, The Hacienda, How Not to Run a Nightclub.
So in this queue of people was me, dressed like OMD with my little shirt on and my tie, and all these kind of like trendy people. And I suppose trendy people at the time were like dressed like Joy Division. They were kind of like Joy Division meets a flock of seagulls. So it was all trench coats, pointed shoes, and flock of seagulls hair. I don't know, maybe it's just my memories, but they were a surly bunch of bastards. They were too cool for school. And I'm stood in this queue with my friend Stuart, dressed like OMD, and waiting to go in the Hacienda with all these cool dudes. There was other OMD fans there, there must have been, but I think most of them, the people that I remember, were all like cool dude Hacienda people.
So finally, I'm asking round, after asking people in this queue, please will you sign me in? And the answer was, no. I've got somebody with me already. Finally, I find a guy, just as we get to the door, that would sign me in. And to my relief, I get into the venue, into the Hacienda, to see this most important gig of my life. Walks into the Hacienda. Were the tables, were the tables and chairs and waiters? No, there wasn't. What greeted me was this sort of, well, if you've been, you'll know what it was like, this really cool, vast sort of aircraft hangar type building with these big girders with stripes on them, traffic cones around the centre of the dance floor, and the stage was just like knee high, and it was just like a black square in the wall. But on that stage was OMD's equipment, the synthesizers, the monitors and everything, and we were there right up at the front, and I just couldn't believe that after seeing them at a massive venue earlier on that year, suddenly we were there at the front. The gig was great, fantastic gig, never forget it as long as I live. And the next night we went to see him in Liverpool as well, like true fans, and that was a brilliant gig as well at the Royal Court Theatre in Liverpool.
Anyway, it's 33 years later, it's the 9th of May 2016. I'm at the Royal Albert Hall to see OMD again. This time no member has to sign me in, I've got a ticket.
So I hope you liked my little story. If you did like it, please give it a thumbs up and leave a comment below and tell me about your gig disasters or gig successes. It doesn't matter whether they're from the past or the recent or whatever. Even better if you subscribe, that'd be fantastic. Thank you again for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. And just before you go, the following year I actually got to meet the band finally and got some stuff signed.